Greetings, beloved. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Constellation, where I use astrology as a tool for gaining clarity and awareness. And today, I would like to bring your awareness to the shifting of the nodes of destiny. So, the North Node and the South Node will be entering and moving through the signs of Leo and Aquarius, beginning on the 19th of August 2026, ending on the 7th of March in 2028. Now, I will clarify while I've selected those dates in particular, but first, I want you to remember that the most accurate astrology is your personal astrology. So while you're watching this video, apply the information to your life accordingly. Don't try to force anything or make something fit that doesn't. Let it align naturally. And with that said, let's get into it. Okay, so I'm sure by now you have seen a lot of videos and maybe a lot of posts from other astrologers talking about how the North Node and the South Node enter the sign of Aquarius and Leo on the 27th of July, ending on the 27th of March, if I'm not mistaken. So those dates are also accurate. What they are referring to are the dates of the true node. What I'm referring to here, or what I have selected, are the dates of the mean node. So there is the mean node and the true node. And the difference really is the calculation. All right. So the reason why I've selected the mean node is because I personally find it easier to track and trace when I'm doing predictions or when I'm just following along with how a person is progressing in their personal life journey. So it's just easier for me to work with. It's a preference thing. It doesn't mean that one is more correct than the other. All right, so I just wanted to clear that up. But for those of you that are not already familiar, the North Node and the South Node are not planets in space. They are not objects in space. They are just mathematical points associated with the moon. Okay, and they just happen to carry very significant energies in connection to our fate and our destiny in our life journey. All right, so in your natal chart, the birth chart that you are born with, the North Node can represent the main destiny, the main reason why you incarnated into this life, into this earth, and what you came to fulfill. You can call it karma, you can call it destiny, you can call it fate. Whereas the South Node can represent the natural talents and abilities that you incarnate into this life with, right? This is what comes naturally to you. Some might say it is what you came with from a previous life, right? Things that you may have accomplished or were good at in a previous life. So if the South Node is your comfort zone, then the North Node is your growth point in the natal chart. And then when it comes to present day, the North Node and the South Node can reveal the current destiny or fate that we are fulfilling, not just as a society, but also as individuals, how we are participating in fulfilling a particular destiny or fate or a service of karma. All right, so this energy lasts for about 18 months at a time, and then once that karma or once that destiny is fulfilled, we move on to the next one. So this constant change of destiny in present day does not eliminate or replace the destiny you were born with. All right, it's just showing you how you are getting there step by step. So you can look at it almost as though we have many destinies and fates to fulfill in this life, but the one in your birth chart is the main event. All right, so let's backtrack a little. For the past 18 months, we have been experiencing the karma or the destiny of the North Node and South Node being in the signs of Virgo and Pisces, right? The Virgo-Pisces axis. So with the South Node in Virgo, we have had to let go of needing to have all our ducks in a row before moving forward with something. And we have moved in the direction of the North, which was in Pisces, where we had to surrender. We had to trust what was unfolding, even when we couldn't see where the path was headed and where we would land. Now, obviously, it depends on the areas of life that the Virgo and Pisces energies rule for you. That'll determine the kind of experiences that you had. But if you just sit and reflect on it, say if you don't have the time of birth, so you don't really know what houses you have Virgo and Pisces in, if you just sit and reflect and you think, okay, what did I have to release control over? Where I had to not focus on the details so much and just surrender to the process. What was that for me in the past 18 months? And you should be able to come up with an answer. So now we can fast forward into present day, where we have the North Node in the sign of Aquarius and the South Node in the sign of Leo. I feel like this destiny, this fate, this karma is about going from being self-driven, which is Leo, to being community-driven, which is Aquarius. Now, an important point that I do want to make before I go on is that the North and the South Node is truly about balance. I personally don't believe that it's about leaving one behind and moving completely in the direction of the other. Because every single sign has positive traits and negative traits, the evolved and the unevolved. So when we talk about leaving the South behind, I believe that we're talking about leaving the unevolved energies, the negative energies of that sign, or rather the negative traits of that sign behind. But you can keep the positives, all right? And you can actually use the positive traits of the South Node sign to actually propel you forward into the North Node energy. You can work with it. You don't have to completely disregard it and pretend like it doesn't exist. Okay. So when it comes to this North Node in Aquarius energy, we're moving more in the direction of open-mindedness, as opposed to Leo's attachment to the good old days and the good old ways that kind of keep the same kind of person succeeding, the same kind of ideas succeeding. The Aquarius energy is saying, open up the field, allow space and create space for a different kind of person to succeed, for different ideas to thrive that are also progressive and inclusive. Okay, we're thinking more on a humanitarian basis. What is best for the people, not just what is best for a person. We are becoming a lot more socially aware and considering the needs of the society, right? The needs of all people, not just focusing on the needs of one person and one definition of success or leadership, right? Leo rules leadership energy. So we may see a lot of changes in that direction, but I don't like to focus my astrology on what's happening in the world. I like to focus my astrology on you, on the individual. How is your personal life story unfolding? Although I will say, for those of us who are interested in the subject of aliens, isn't it interesting that first contact will be happening while the North Node is in the sign of Aquarius? Interesting. If you know, you know. But anyway, back to the business at hand. That is the gist of this change of destiny, this Aquarius and Leo change of fate. I'm going to get into your horoscopes now. So thank you for watching up until this point. Remember to watch for your rising sign first and then your sun sign thereafter, and check to see if you have any other planets or angles within the signs of Leo and Aquarius, because those will be significant. They are significant role players in how your fate, your karma, and your destiny will be unfolding. And in addition to that, you can also look at your Taurus and Scorpio houses as well, because then you might have a very significant but somewhat challenging experience with the fate and the destiny that may be coming up for you. Okay, if you don't know how to figure that out on your own, I am available. You can leave your questions in the comment section, or you can reach out to me privately. My contact methods are listed in the description and they've also popped up in the video somewhere. I am going to thank you for watching and see you in your horoscopes. Hi there, Aquarius rising. So for you, destiny calls you to innovate your approach. There is something, or there might be something, that you have been doing the same way for a very long time. And that could be because you have been chasing after one particular vision for a long time, and you have wanted this vision to manifest in a specific way. Perhaps you haven't been too flexible with the ways in which you want this ideal thing to manifest for you. And it could be anything. It could be a relationship, it could be your career, it could be family life, it could be the place where you live, it could be so many things, right? And so you've perhaps committed yourself to doing things in a specific way, in a hope and also in a belief that doing things that way and just sticking with it is going to eventually land you where you want to be. And I feel like with the North Node moving through the first house, it's definitely going to innovate the way that you've been approaching whatever the situation is for you. You may be having certain ideas, you may be awakening to ways in which you have limited yourself in the way that you've been approaching this thing. For some of you, maybe the goal itself is the limitation, right? Maybe you've just been aiming for level 3 and level 3 was good enough for you, whereas you could actually achieve or reach level 12, right? Whatever that is for you, whatever that could potentially mean for you. But basically, like the goal that you've had for yourself may have been too small for you. Like, yeah, you've just, in some shape or form, you've limited what you're capable of. Maybe you've been hiding some of your quirkiness. Maybe you've been a little bit shy and afraid of being the odd one out. And with the North Node moving through your first house, this could really be a time, right? These 18 months could be a time where you are more willing to go for it. You can see that playing it safe is not doing you any favors. Being afraid of being laughed at or being pointed at as the weird one, the one that doesn't fit in, it's not doing you any favors. You're still not living the life that you want to live. So you may definitely develop the courage, right? This is where you borrow from the Leo energy. Develop the courage to let the uniqueness out, to let the strangeness out. People will understand when they are ready to and when they are willing to. Try not to focus your energy and your attention on getting people who are not interested in understanding you to understand you. All right, but I feel like that might only apply to a few of you. It really does depend on where you are in your life journey. I know that this North Node in Aquarius won't manifest the same way for someone who is 30 versus for someone who is 45 versus for someone who is 16. All right, it may come with different elements, and of course the planets, the angles that this North Node will be aspecting for you will obviously flavor your personal experience, but definitely do keep the things that I have just said in mind. And what you might be leaving behind with the South Node is attachments maybe to the good old days of a relationship, a partnership. Maybe you've had a close friend or a lover, someone that you are married to. This could be a relationship with a parent, all right? Any one-on-one close relationship that you have where you're sticking with this person or you're keeping this person in your life because of the memories that you have with them, right? Because they remind you of a good time in your life. But you may start to notice or realize that this person isn't really progressing with you. They're not helping you become more of who you are. Maybe in the times when you're expressing your authentic self, they don't really get it. They kind of look at you a little bit sideways and confused, like, why would Aquarius do that? Or why does Aquarius think that's funny? Like, why are you being weird, right? And you can see that you have to kind of confine yourself and play small and be normal so that this person can accept you, so that this relationship can keep going, right? So that you can hold on to it. I feel like you shouldn't be afraid to let this person go, like leave your life completely, if that is what is necessary. Okay, it won't be necessary for everyone. Whereas on the other hand, it could be a thing of you just need to set new boundaries. Maybe you don't need to spend all your time with this particular friend, all right? Maybe you don't need to express that part of yourself to this specific person because they just simply don't get it. And you're exhausting yourself with trying to get them to go with you where you're headed, which might not be something that interests them. All right. So don't be afraid to detach from this partnership, from this relationship. For a few of you, it might be a professional partnership, maybe somebody that you started a business with, or a contract that you had signed some years ago, and they've just wanted you to be the same thing always, bring the same element. This is what we hired you for. This is what we were interested in you for. And that's just not you anymore. You don't resonate with that identity, that personality anymore. And it may be time for you to sever that contract, to sever ties with those people that you have partnered up with or signed up to do whatever it is that you have signed up to do with them. Okay, so I think I'm going to leave it there for you, Aquarius. If you have experiences that you would like to share or questions that you would like to ask, the comment section is fully available for you to use. I look forward to hearing from you. I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Leo rising. So for you, destiny calls you to collaborate. Some of you may be attracting a fated or a destined partnership. So this could come in the form of a friend. This could come in the form of a lover who might be in your life for an extended period of time, right? A long-term partnership. For some of you, this can come in the form of a contract where maybe you're signing on to work with certain people, or you're signing on to maybe own or rent a particular building, right? Location. It could be so many things, but some form of fated agreement or partnership that is taking place that is going to elevate you and move you further in the direction of fulfilling your destiny. Okay. And this contract or this partnership is likely going to be unconventional. Maybe the way in which you meet each other or you are alerted to each other's existence could be very unique and unconventional. Or maybe it's a thing of a friend of yours connects you with a person who runs this business, and this person who runs this business feels like they can collaborate with you with whatever it is that your niche is. They collaborate with you, and then yeah, it's a marriage that people wouldn't expect. All right, whether it's business or personal, but there is this energy of a union that is just highly unlikely, that nobody could have predicted, right? And also, these partnerships could happen very suddenly, very quickly, unexpectedly, where it feels like you didn't see this coming. It could be even that some of you end up, I don't want to say falling in love with your friend, but it's highly possible, right? The Aquarius energy is the energy of friends. So it's highly possible that you may have had this friend in your life for forever, and you just never really looked at them as a partner, as someone that you could be in a romantic relationship with, and then all of a sudden there's something in the air and you see this person under a specific light and you're like, what if maybe, we tried this relationship thing and then it works out. And then it works out. This is definitely the energy of opposites attract. It is the energy of things that usually wouldn't make sense together are suddenly making sense together. All right, so you could see a lot of that happening within your life. And with what you're letting go of, the South Node moving through your first house, some of you are letting go of being single. Some of you, maybe you've been single for many, many years. And now the single era is over. You finally are getting that partnership that maybe you haven't even been looking for, like your attention and your focus wasn't there. You've been focused on living your life, getting your bag, literally everything else. And as I said, unexpectedly, here's this partnership, or maybe you've been doing something on your own, right? You've been working on this project or on this goal by yourself. You've been a lone ranger, and all of a sudden someone comes along and says, hey, I would like to sponsor what it is that you've got going on, or as I said, collaborate with you, or something where you no longer have to carry it by yourself. All right, it could be a problem that you have been working towards solving, right? And you've just felt like, or it has been that you're the only one who's working on a solution, you're the only one who's trying to get this thing to progress. And this is the time, while the North Node is in your seventh house in Aquarius, it could be a time where you actually do get some help. You actually do get some help with implementing those innovative ideas that you have had that you previously did not have any help with. I do also see a little bit of an ego death with this energy, where it has been me, 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 me for a very long time. And this is a time where you kind of put yourself aside, put your desires and your needs aside, and you think about the needs of others, right? In fact, you may not have a choice in the matter, right? You may not have a choice in having to prioritize others. You will naturally see your life doing this, where it's just like the things that have to do with you and you alone are kind of being put on hold and on pause, and there are other people who just seem to matter a little bit more. But I feel like you will naturally want to be there for others. I feel like it won't necessarily be a fight that you're holding on to, satisfying yourself and doing things for yourself. I mean, if you are, you're going to have a challenging time with this energy, because the South Node is really not supporting the me narrative. It's supporting the people narrative. So I think lean into it. I think lean into making others the center of your universe. It's just for a couple of months, okay? So, yeah, share the love, share the ideas, share the assistance, share the support. All right, Leo, I think I'm going to leave it there for you. If you have any experiences that you'd like to share, any questions that you have, the comment section is fully available for you to use. I look forward to hearing from you. So I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Pisces rising. So for you, destiny calls you to awakening in isolation. You may notice that your life is transpiring in such a way where you're just ending up isolated. You're ending up spending a lot of your time by yourself. So this could be circumstantial, where maybe a certain job comes to an end, there might be a retrenchment, or maybe you get fired, or maybe you resign, right? Or it could be that you just personally are not in the mood to be around a lot of people. You just don't feel connected to being out and about and constantly socializing for no good reason, like without good purpose, so you're preferring your own company. You're preferring to isolate yourself into a bubble with information that interests you. And this information is actually what's going to awaken you to certain truths, right? And there is almost this freedom that comes with this isolation. So maybe at first, let's say the ending or the loss of a job, it may at first seem, like devastating. And it may seem like, oh my gosh, what now? What will become of you now? What are you going to do with your life? Especially depending on the age that you're at. You might feel fear around starting over, or fear around looking for the next job and how you're going to replace this one with the other, because the South Node, the reason why I'm talking about jobs is that the South Node is moving through your sixth house, the house of, the work that we do on a daily basis, and it can very much be speaking on the job that you have. So in the case that you are the Pisces who's experiencing the end of employment, as I said, you might start out a little freaked out, but as time progresses, you're developing a greater understanding of freedom. It's like you're getting to know yourself anew, like you're getting an opportunity to remember yourself, to put yourself back together, to realize your authenticity, your uniqueness, and the ways in which you have kind of betrayed that unique path and that uniqueness, your unique way of thinking, your unique way of looking at the world, your unique way of, just being a part of humanity, right? A part of society, and how you've been doing it in a way that hasn't been true to you. So these are all the revelations that you may be having while the North Node moves through your 12th house. You may be called to face certain fears that you've had around isolation, around being alone, around, as I said, certain losses, right? There could be like this theme of either you're losing friends, or we're losing jobs, or you're losing, beliefs, right? Certain beliefs that you have had, and everything just seems to be cutting ties and detaching and detaching. And it is actually freeing, right? It doesn't seem like that at first. At first, it seems a little scary. But in actuality, you're being freed from the ties that have bound you over these past couple of years. And at the end of this transit, once the North Node is finished in your 12th house, you will definitely feel lighter. And you're also going to feel more like yourself, like you can finally live a life that makes sense to you. Now, for some of you Pisces, this could be a time, these 18 months could be a time where you are beginning or launching or reigniting, relaunching some form of humanitarian service, some form of, could be an NGO, could be some form of charity, something where you give back to others in a very meaningful way. So it can manifest in many different ways. Whatever your idea of giving back is, this could be the year where you feel more drawn to actually do that, get started with it. And, because Aquarius is the energy of innovation, I feel like this could likely be something that already exists, and you're just finding ways of how to do it better, right? Better than what it has been before. As I said, you're innovating it, you're giving it a new breath of life, due to and thanks to your new perspective, thanks to the awakening that you are currently experiencing. But yeah, definitely some fated isolation and karmic or fated endings coming for some of you Pisces. So brace yourself. And then with the South Node in the 6th house, we are definitely letting go of, the kinds of work that we have been doing just to hold on to an identity, right? There are certain, for some of you, there are certain jobs that you may have taken or that you have been doing, not even jobs alone, not just limited to work, but also habits, right? Habits that you have adopted. Maybe you've adopted going to the gym, but you're not really doing it healthily. You're just doing it so that you could have a body that people can look at, right? Which is not really authentic. It's a little bit shallow, right? It's a shallow motivation to hit the gym just so you can have a body that people want to look at, right? Rather than hitting the gym so that you can be healthier, so that you can extend, your life, your lifespan. That is a deeper and more authentic and a healthier motivation for why you would be hitting the gym. So that's only for like a few people. But yeah, these are things to think about. Think about your motivations for the things that you do, the habits that you have. For some, it could have been partaking in substances, or maybe even a party lifestyle that you were into because your friends are into it. But now you're evolving into a person that really isn't into doing those activities anymore. Maybe you don't want to go hiking with the group. Maybe you don't want to join the running club. You were just doing it for shallow reasons, and you may not be able to continue on with living the lie, that was really cultivated to get people to like you or praise you for a particular thing. So whether you're ready to let this go or not, I feel like destiny is going to nudge you in the direction of the 12th house, where we are releasing and letting things go, and we're moving in a direction of authenticity and truth, and also freedom from performing, right? Performing for the friends, performing for the people at work, performing for the job that you don't like. And when I say performing, I mean pretentious, right? Being like pretending to be okay with it, pretending to be happy with it. That's what I mean by that. So yeah, I don't want to muddy it up too much. I think I'm going to leave it there for you Pisces. If you have any experiences that you would like to share or questions that you would like to ask, the comment section is fully available for you. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you. I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Virgo rising. So, destiny calls you to innovate your daily life. There are some fated changes coming in for your lifestyle. So, for some of you, you may be joining running clubs, you may be, starting to do yoga or any other unconventional, although I don't know how unconventional it is now because everyone is kind of doing it, but still, an unconventional addition of an activity to your daily life, something that you do that is authentically you, that might be weird for other people. So perhaps you're going into a new line of work or a different line of work where you're just doing things a little bit more independently and you're kind of just following your quirky North Star in the way that you accomplish doing whatever your tasks are. And this could be at work professionally, or it can be just in your daily life. And also, if you're an entrepreneur, definitely innovating the way that do your service, right? The way in which you accomplish doing your service, whatever the service is that you give to other people. Yeah, and also if you do have some form of entrepreneurship that has just been based on getting money, getting clients who pay, getting clients who book, you may develop a greater interest in actually serving the people, in actually making their lives much better. So you could be looking at your goals, looking at your mission statement, your motivations for starting the business, or your motivations for the work that you do, and you may be looking at, but how can I make this more so that it serves the people on a greater level? And what can I do to my business to also make it more progressive, right? And futuristic as well. I mean, this is the age of AI. So some of you may be using AI a lot more, or maybe you're using AI a lot less. And that's how you progress, right? Our imaginations and our ideas don't all manifest the same way. So you may find an innovative way to not use AI software or skills, but to continue to employ people, who can do things manually, right? So that can be progressive depending on how you implement it. Okay, for some of you, yeah, it's definitely with your health. Some of you might be moving in the direction of holistic healing, holistic living. Some of you may be becoming vegans or vegetarians, pescatarians, all the tarians that are out there, but you will obviously gravitate to the one that speaks to you most. For some of you, you might be getting a pet friend that's going to be a great part of your life, your evolution in this life. Some of you may even develop an interest in volunteering at like animal shelters, or maybe donating resources towards animal shelters and plant life as well. You may take a greater interest in those kinds of things. And these are fated, right? These are like karmic things that are happening, destined paths. So yeah, it should be interesting how it manifests for you. Obviously depends on the planets angles that you may have in the 6th house and also in the 12th house. So speaking of the 12th house, this is where the south node will be for you. So we see you, Virgo, letting go of attachments. All right, the attachments that you have had to self-sabotaging habits, attachments that you have had to fears that have kept you safe. For example, something like, I'm afraid of starting a business because what if it fails, right? And then using the failure of it and using examples of other people who have failed to keep you from starting the business or starting the service, talking yourself out of implementing the idea, out of doing the activity, like, oh, I'm not really a runner, so I don't want to join the running club, knowing that it would be good for your health, knowing that it would be good for your social life, all right? All kinds of fears, reasons, and excuses that you have kept to keep yourself comfortable where you are. So these are the things, those comforts are the things that you will be letting go of. Egotistical motivations, or rather egotistical fears, I feel like it's more so the fears of the ego, because the ego in the 12th house does not like to be laughed at, does not like to be the butt of the joke, does not like to fail in public, right? The ego, Leo, Leo in the 12th house likes to fail privately. Not even likes to, but you get what I'm saying. Would rather make all their mistakes away from the eyes of other people rather than have it publicized. So this could be a fear that you need to let go of. You need to be willing to fall in front of people and actually allow other people to lift you back up. Allow other people to help you, support you in accomplishing the goal. You don't have to do it all by yourself. Okay, so Virgo, I think I'm going to leave it there for you. If you have any experiences that you would like to share or questions that you would like to ask, the comment section is fully available for you to use. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you. I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Aries rising. So for you, destiny calls you to collaborate, network, and collaborate some more. This is such a people-oriented energy for you because Aquarius naturally rules the 11th house. So you are going to be interacting with a whole lot of people who have all kinds of personalities, all kinds of ideas. There is just going to be so much variety in the kind of interactions that you'll be having, and it'll be good for you to get out of your own bubble of how to express yourself and express yourself successfully, right? Maybe you've had these preconceived notions and ways of expressing yourself that you have been attached to, right? This is having now Leo in the 5th house where the South Node will be. And maybe you've just stuck to, this is the way I am. This is how I do things. This is how it's going to be. Take it or leave it, right? You're going to need to let go of the take it or leave it energy. You're going to need to let go of the, this is just who I am. It's just the way that I am. It can no longer be just the way that you are. And you do need to consider other people's ideas. You do need to consider how other people see the world, how other people see you, all right? Maybe you have a certain vision of yourself that is not entirely accurate in terms of how other people see you. So learning about yourself through other people, right? Learning about how other people see you, learning about how other people see the world that you live in could actually help you expand and be able to move into uncharted territories. But you need to be willing to experiment. Although this is fated and destined energy, so you won't really have a choice. Yeah, the fated events, they just come. They just come, and then you handle it accordingly. So for you, there could be some fated friends that you are meeting. So these could be new friends, friends, as I said, who awaken you to an entirely different way of living, an entirely different way of engaging with other people. There could be fated collaborations for business reasons, social media as well, right? This could be a time where you actually start to change your social media, right? The way that it looks. Maybe you change the topic of your podcast. If your podcast is specified to a specific genre or specific topic, this could be a time where you innovate that, right? And you start talking about different things, or you tap into different genres and you reach out to a different demographic. And this actually increases your following and it increases your engagement, all right, through your social media. Yes, sure, some of you might become influencers. Definitely, you might succeed in that route, but obviously it depends on the aspects that are being made to the rest of the planets in your birth chart. Not everybody's becoming an influencer under this energy, but it is highly possible for certain people. Okay. And yeah, with the South Node in the 5th house, you may be letting go of certain things that used to please you. There are certain things that you used to do that were fun, that were enjoyable, whereas now they may not be as enjoyable, or you may not be able to participate. And that could be due to maybe you don't have the funds or the finances to participate in that activity anymore, or you're no longer friends with the person who used to connect you with that activity anymore. Could be casual dating. Maybe you used to be a serial casual dater, and you may no longer be interested in that, in shallow friendships that are just about vibing and having a good time, but there's no progress. You're not really getting anywhere with these people. You just get together and have some fun, and then what? You know what I mean? I think I'm going to leave it there for you, Aries. If you have any experiences that you'd like to share or questions that you would like to ask, the comment section is fully available for you to use. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you there. And I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Libra rising. So for you, destiny calls you to create. This is the time where you must create without limitation, without thinking about whether or not people are going to understand your art or understand your perspective, whether or not they're going to accept you or reject you. That's not the point, and that is not what matters now. What matters now is your authentic expression. And it's not all just about being creative or doing a hobby, singing a song, painting a picture. For some of you, your expression might be, speaking up for yourself. For some of you, your expression might be finally saying no to something that you've been saying yes to for a long time because you've been trying to please other people, because you've been trying to be agreeable, but not being authentic to who you are. All right, expressing yourself isn't always just limited to how you dress and how you look and what's your creative talent. It can also just be about speaking up. It can also just be about setting those boundaries, and walking your unique path, regardless of who decides to come with you and who decides to stay behind. Now, I will say the more true you are to the way in which you express yourself, the more you are going to attract people who understand you and people who will accept you for you, rather than people who need you to be a specific way in order for them to accept you, in order for them to be comfortable with who you are. So with the South Node in the 11th house, there could definitely be a letting go of friendships or certain group dynamics or certain people that you just don't resonate with anymore. Maybe those friendships have been very pretentious for you, and you've just been in these groups and in these friendships just to get along, just so you're not alone, just so you're not the weird one, right? And yeah, within these 18 months, it could be a time where you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't pretend anymore. I just don't like these people. Or I don't like these activities that you get together and do when you're with these people. Like when you're with these people, they always want to do the same thing. They always want to talk about the good old days. They always, and it's just like, this is a little bit old. It's a little bit boring. I need something a lot more interesting, a lot more progressive, something that actually takes me somewhere or introduces me to a life that I didn't know before, something that I'm not used to, right? You may have developed or maybe developing a craving for uncharted territories. So that should be very, very interesting for you, Libra. So I am going to leave it there. If you have any experiences or questions, oh no, before I close it out, your hopes and dreams as well. You may have had certain ideals, certain things that you wanted to accomplish, right? Certain goals that you were attached to. You wanted to accomplish them. You wanted to be known for them, right? This is something that you wanted to be applauded for and recognized for, and you may no longer resonate with that. For example, some of you wanted to be an influencer for makeup, right? Because when you were younger, you used to really like doing makeup, maybe in front of the mirror or in front of the camera, and it was something that you really genuinely used to enjoy. But as you are growing and evolving, you're like, sure, I still do my makeup, but I don't know if I'm still excited about doing videos about makeup, and if I still want my social media to be about makeup anymore, so you might leave that behind and then maybe start a completely different social media that showcases some of your other interests. And yes, that could result in losing certain followers, that could result in losing certain sponsorships for those of you that are sponsored. So yeah, that's how it could manifest. Some of you might just delete the social media that you currently have just so you can start over on a clean slate, because the person that you have been known as up until now is just not the person that you resonate with anymore. You don't want to be seen that way anymore. You don't want to be associated with those things anymore. So you delete the page, or you leave it, or you change it, you innovate it. All right. So Now I feel like I can leave it there for you, Libra. So yes, as I said, if you have experiences or questions that you would like to share, comment section is fully available for you. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you. I'm going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Taurus rising. So for you, destiny calls you to innovate authority and leadership. So some of you may be thrust into leadership positions all of a sudden, maybe due to a sudden vacancy, right? Somebody suddenly gets fired and then you're suddenly up for the running for that job. Or, it could be a home project, maybe something's going on within the family life and you all of a sudden have to lead, you all of a sudden have to take charge, right? The Aquarius energy and unexpected events. So you may find yourself suddenly leading people. Could be a small group, could be a large group, depends on the story that the rest of your astrology is telling. But you're definitely not going to lead in a conventional way. And I feel like it's going to be good for you. I feel like it's going to be beneficial for you to implement new ways where you can inspire people and liberate them and help them help themselves, right? Empower the people. Be a leader that actually considers the needs of the people rather than being a leader who's interested in just climbing the corporate ladder for their own pocket, or for their own shine. I feel like that's not you. And if it is you, you won't be able to do that anyway, because the Aquarius energy really does want you to consider the greater good of other people. It really does want you to consider serving humanity, and your ideals about freedom, your ideals about improvement are really going to help you in the way in which you're going to lead these people and these groups. Some of you may also experience fated changes with your reputation. Like, yes, for some of you, it could be something as simple as a promotion where you're going from junior level to senior level. But for some of you, it's going to be drastic. It's going to be like you're going from being an engineer and being known as an engineer your whole life, and then suddenly you're a chef, and you've completely digressed. You've completely changed paths, right, and job titles. But there's definitely something unconventional about your reputation and about your leadership style that may be happening within these 18 months. I'm trying to think. Yes. Also, there might be some fated, unexpected events happening involving male figures in your life. So this could be uncles, the father in particular, but also maybe your husband if you are married, or your long-term boyfriend if you're in a relationship, or it could be your brother. Did I say your brother? I think I did. But yes, any males in your life, there could be significant, unexpected karmic events that are happening that impact you, where you either need to assist them, or you, some way, somehow, it affects your responsibilities. Maybe you might need to be responsible for someone who experienced a sudden change. Okay, you might be the person who aids them, who helps them with adjusting to the sudden changes that have happened. You may need to adjust to the sudden changes that may be happening with authorities in your life. All right, let's say maybe you work for a company and the company could be changing authority figures, right? Maybe you used to work under a specific manager and then all of a sudden that person is getting fired for this, that, and the other, and now a new person is coming in, and now you have to adapt and adjust to this person's leadership style. All right, it really depends on the story that your astrology is telling. It's not going to manifest the same for everyone. And then with the South Node in the fourth house, I see you leaving behind certain conditionings or certain foundations that you have built your success on, right? Maybe family has praised you for how well you represent them, right? Maybe they have certain value systems, they have certain ways of life, or the ways in which they want to be known in society and in the community. Certain pressures, basically, that the family has put on you that has kept you going in a specific direction, right? Maybe you even felt like you owed your family a specific personality, that maybe a version of yourself that they grew up with, right? That they grew with, that they raised even. And you've been doing your best to fulfill that role, right? And continuously pretend to be the person that they think you are, the person that they are proud of, the person that they can go around and brag about. And the North Node in Aquarius is saying you're going to need to leave that behind. You need to be okay with maybe your family not being proud of you. You need to be okay with them saying things like, this is so unlike you. We didn't expect you to resign from being an engineer and going into becoming a chef, and kind of just being okay with letting them down and disappointing them, for the fulfillment of your destiny. Now, obviously, don't do anything that you personally are not ready to do. Do not allow this video or anybody else's advice to push you into making a decision that you personally are not ready to make. But maybe you've been thinking about this already, right? And you've been contemplating and looking for a sign and going back and forth. Do I be the thing, the person that they've known me to be all these years and they're so proud of me for it? Or do I finally just go in the direction that I want to go in, and take the risk and take this leap of faith into being this person that I've always wanted to be, but I was afraid to do because I was afraid to lose their pride in me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's a little bit of a deep one there. I feel like if you have maybe Chiron in the fourth house, maybe some form of wounding with belonging to your family or being accepted by your family, this could be something that might be a little bit difficult for you. And it can also be where you grew up, right? Like the childhood home or area or neighborhood where you have felt obligated to maintain a certain level of success so that you can continue to resonate with the friends that you have in the neighborhood. You don't want to be more successful than the other one because you don't want them to call you stuck up or like, you're becoming this person that we don't recognize all of a sudden. Like maybe you've just been afraid to fully bloom, right? Because you want to keep your friends, you want to keep these comforts that you have, this foundation that you have built for yourself, and maybe that foundation just can't sustain you anymore, not the way that it is. If the foundation is keeping you from reaching new heights, then it's not good for you. No matter how nostalgic it is, no matter how long you've been friends with those people, no matter how much you care about, breaking your parents' heart, if the love is true and the love is unconditional, it's not going to confine you. It's not going to keep you the same. Yeah, that kind of love or that kind of support, that kind of foundation is meant to nurture you into becoming your fullest potential, whatever that is, even if it becomes something that other people did not expect. All right, but I feel like that's also a very specific one. I don't know if you know who that message is coming through for, but I feel like it is for specific Tauruses, that particular message. And yeah, I feel like the South Node also in the fourth house, not necessarily moving away from home physically, although it's possible depending on, the rest of the astrology, but it really is moving away from what you were raised with, those foundations, right? Those things that have raised you, not those things as in people, I mean those things as in ideals. Okay, I think I am going to leave it there for you, Taurus. If you have experiences or questions that you would like to ask or share, the comment section is fully available for you. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you. I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Scorpio rising. So for you, destiny is calling you to innovate your home and family life. So this can look like opening up your home to have maybe some of your friends come live with you, or maybe you're going to be moving into a commune with friends where you all live together and you all chip in, and for some of you it could be maybe that you're moving to an area that you've always wanted to move to, right? Maybe it's an unconventional way of living. So maybe it's a farm. A farm's unconventional. Oh my gosh. But you know what I mean? Unconventional from city life, right? Where maybe you're going back to the farm and you want to plant your own food, and you're just going to start living differently from societal norms. I think that's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to belittle or disrespect the farm life. So yeah, just living in a way, like arranging your home in a way that is more authentic to you, and is unconventional to societal norms, and is also for the greater good of yourself and the people that you will be living with, because the Aquarius energy considers the needs of the people. And perhaps you and the group of people who are deciding to live this way are doing this for literally for your future, maybe the future of your children. For those of you who have children, you may feel like you don't want to raise them with cell phones and social media. You may feel like you don't necessarily want them to be out of touch with nature. And I know when people think of technological advancement, or when they think of advancement in general, we always assume that advancing means technology, advancing means digital. But sometimes advancing just means doing something different from the norm. All right, so you could be doing this in connection to your home, right? Could be the physical property. Maybe you're going from artificial lighting to a more natural light, right? Maybe you want to spend more time outdoors. Maybe you're landscaping, right? The backyard, you're creating a beautiful garden, a sanctuary for you, right? That can be a sustainable, futuristic development that you are doing in connection with your home, with the way in which you live. And you could be also introducing this to your family, to your children as well, for those of you that have children. Also, I feel like some of you need to brace yourself for unexpected events, fated events happening involving your home. So these are changes. So the changes might be wonderful, right? Or the changes might be a little bit disruptive at first. It depends on the aspects that the nodes will be making to the rest of the planets in your chart, whether or not you are going to adjust to these sudden changes with ease, or you're going to adjust with them feeling like you've just been thrown into a new way of living, or into a new way of, yeah, coexisting with other people, you know. So please do brace yourself for that. Unexpected breakages as well. So the thing with the breakages, right, when things just suddenly stop working or suddenly stop breaking, like this thing has been functional for so many years and then now all of a sudden it just stops working, that could usually be an indication that something else needs to change, something bigger. Like, it's not just about the appliance, but there's like some form of subliminal message. But obviously, that depends on if you believe in that kind of stuff, if you believe in synchronicity, if you believe in messages being sent in many different ways. So yeah, so if there are sudden breakages, although they shouldn't be, but depends on the rest of the astrology, that could just mean there is an even greater change that is coming, or that is needed to be implemented, maybe by you. And chances are you will know what exactly that is. I don't think you will be in the dark for too long. What else? Unexpected events or situations involving the mother, maternal figure, or women in your life. The women in your life may be going through maybe unexpected and sudden breakthroughs, or maybe it's unexpected and sudden challenges, right? Depending on the astrology. And you may need to be there to help them, to support them in adjusting to the sudden change as well. There could be somebody who comes to live in the house with you, right? All of a sudden, maybe their house got flooded for some reason and now they need a place to stay, and your place is the most available, is the most convenient and available place that they have. So now you have to adjust to having this extra person in your home. Like, it can manifest in many different ways, but their presence there, any of these changes that are taking place in your home, are fated. That person is supposed to be there. They might annoy you. You might find them to be very triggering, and you may be thinking like, oh my gosh, when is this person going to leave? I thought they were just going to be here for 3 months and it's been 8 months. The person is supposed to be there. Their presence is significantly triggering in the direction of your growth. So embrace them. Okay. And then having the South Node in the 10th house could mean that, you know, your career ambitions may need to take a bit of a back seat, doing things to progress yourself professionally. You may need to make adjustments, all right? It does not necessarily mean that you need to leave the job, okay? It could just be that there are certain adjustments that you need to make. in order for you to focus on whatever is going on, right? The karmic shifts that are going on within your home and family life. And also letting go of any shallow motivations to want to be successful, wanting to, be recognized maybe for things that really don't matter as much. Like if you actually think about it, like if you dig deeper and investigate why you want to be acknowledged for this thing, why you want to get the trophy, the shine, the applause, the acknowledgement for this thing. And now I'm not saying that you don't deserve your flowers. What I'm saying is, do you know why you desire to get flowers for this specific thing? And are all your motivations genuine, or are some of them a little bit shallow? Maybe you just want to be better than Sharon. You just don't want Sharon to beat you at anything. That's a shallow motivation for you to want a promotion or to want recognition. So that kind of thing. It does not mean that you mustn't want to be successful. Absolutely not. So yeah, apply it accordingly. Allow it to make sense to you. Oh, yes. And another thing is authority figures, or authority in general. I feel like there might be a way, maybe a leadership style for those of you that are leaders or in charge of other people, maybe in the work environment, or maybe even a leader in the home. There could be a certain way of doing things, of leading people, of instructing people that you might need to let go of, all right? That has been maybe a little bit too demanding, a little bit too bullyish. You might need to let go of that. And then if you are working somebody who has that kind of archetype where they have this bully kind of leadership style, yeah, you may need to walk away from the situation or set a boundary with the situation and let them know that that's just not going to fly anymore, or I'm just personally not going to work under these conditions. Something needs to change. All right, but it really does depend on the aspects being made in your chart. So, Scorpio, I think I'm going to leave it there for you. If you have experiences or questions that you would like to ask or share, the comment section is fully available for you. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you. I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Gemini rising. So for you, destiny is asking you to innovate your life philosophies. All right, you may need to investigate your meanings of life, right? And the ways in which you perceive the world and what you believe that life is all about. And consider which beliefs you have that are actually aiding you in living a life of your ideals, where you are a lot more free to expand yourself and express yourself in the ways that are authentic to you, versus the beliefs that are keeping you confined, that are limited instead of limitless. All right, so you may need to be doing those investigations, and as a result, you may be attracting fated events or destined events where you meet people that expand your horizons, right? People that introduce you to new spaces, to books that expand your mind, that expand your perspective, where you finally know something that you didn't know before, or you understand something that you previously did not understand as a result of the teachings that you are being exposed to. So you could definitely attract a fated teacher around this time. Some of you may actually become teachers, right? And it does not necessarily mean that you need to have studied at a university in order to have a degree to teach, right? This could be a more spiritual kind of teaching where you have certain beliefs, you've had certain experiences that qualify you to teach a particular perspective, that make you somewhat of an expert in your experiences. And it's very important to understand that you're an expert in your experiences, not necessarily an expert in other people's experiences. So just make sure that you don't impose your ideals and your way of life on other people. Just inform them, give them the information, teach it to them, and then allow them to use it or not use it, to take it or leave it, depending on what their preferences are and who they prefer to be. All right, but definitely some of you could be leaning more into your unconventional teacher role within these 18 months. You know, it could be becoming clear to you how you're going to accomplish teaching your philosophy, right? Some of you could be writing, some of you could be publishing. Maybe you've had significant experiences that you feel like if other people knew about this or read about it, it would prepare them for the world that they are going to enter into. You know, it would help them navigate certain situations, it would help them with a certain perspective. So yeah, it could definitely be fated opportunities for you to publish a book or for you to get in front of people and speak, right? Some of you can create these opportunities for yourself by maybe starting a podcast or a YouTube channel or any other platform where you can speak and you can share, disseminate your wisdom. There can also be fated opportunities for travel where maybe a friend of yours might connect you with somebody who can connect you with an opportunity where maybe the travel is all expenses paid, right? Depends on the rest of the chart and the aspects that the nodes are making to the rest of your chart. So it won't be all expenses paid for everyone. But for some of you, you might attract that. For some of you, you may have to pay for this opportunity to travel. And having the South Node in the third house, you may be releasing a perception that has painted you in a good light all the time. Like you are never wrong, you always know the right thing to say, and you know, whatever your opinion is, that is the right opinion. Whatever information you have, that is the correct information. And you know, maybe you've held on to being the person with all the answers, the person that everyone looks to and expects you to know everything. You could be letting go of that identity a little bit, where it's just like, look, guys, I don't know everything. I'm still learning just like you. Even though I can teach and I can publish this and that, there are certain things that I am still learning. Whereas some of you are really kind of evolving from going to the student who was learning information because you wanted to be validated, you wanted to be known as knowledgeable, you wanted to be known as smart, you know, or known for a particular way of thinking. Whereas now you're just okay with disseminating the information and having learned that information just to improve the lives of other people. Like that will be enough for you to just like, here's a piece of information, go and make your life better with it. All right. It's no longer about, yeah, I'm so smart, I'm so intelligent, give me an award. You know, not that you don't deserve your flowers when you're putting in the work, but I'm saying that's no longer the motivation. The motivation is genuinely to help others help themselves. I feel like that's a repetitive theme with this North Node in Aquarius. It's definitely about empowering other people, you know, and you empower yourself through other people as well. So that's very important. And yeah, lastly, this is an axis of going from thinking small to thinking big. Like your ideas are evolved, futuristic, maybe even ahead of the time in which you'll be implementing some of these ideas, but that shouldn't scare you. All right, even if you feel like a certain idea or a certain concept might be ahead of the people, share it anyway, start it anyway, do it anyway, they will catch up so long as you make it available for them. All right, so Gemini, I think I am going to leave it there for you. If you have experiences or questions that you would like to share and ask, the comment section is fully available for you. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you. I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Sagittarius rising. So for you, destiny calls you to collaborate with your immediate community. Any projects that you want to get off the ground, any ideas that you have that you want to make progress with or that you would like to implement, anything that you would like to innovate or improve for the greater good of other people, you definitely want to collaborate with others. I feel like, Sag, you're not going to get very far trying to do something on your own under this energy. This is an energy that requires community. It requires support. It requires multiple hands, multiple minds working together. and multiple resources. So don't be afraid to let others in on your plans within these 18 months, because people might be able to connect you with the things that you need, with the people also that you need. If you have also felt like the ideas have been running dry, if you are in the if you are in the creative fields or in the creative industry and you just felt like, "Ah, I just don't have ideas, I don't know how to innovate, I don't know what I can do, to switch things up and to progress myself, to propel myself forward around these 18 months or within these 18 months, you could definitely be having those innovative ideas. You could definitely be seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. You might be the light at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, it's a good energy for having ideas, and it's a good energy for collaborating with other people, working with other people in the name of progress and in the name of serving society. There may be some unexpected fated events happening in the lives of your siblings for some of you, or if you are somebody's sibling, you could be the person who's experiencing unexpected changes, unexpected, you know, sudden breakthroughs that are happening in your life. And you find that either you have to help your sibling or your cousin, extended family, to adjust to some of the changes that they are going through, or you're the one who will have to adjust, and you will need your siblings' support or your cousin's support or your aunt, uncle's support in adjusting to whatever change that is transpiring. All right, so there might be a little bit of chaos there, but it really just depends on the rest of the astrology, right? How the North Node and the South Node are aspecting the rest of your personal planets. Now, having the South Node in the 9th house could be that you are letting go of certain philosophies, a certain way of looking at life, a certain meaning that you have given to things or that you have given to life that just isn't working for you anymore. And, yeah, you are going north, you are learning new philosophies, you're reading new books, you're changing your perception and your perspective on things. So letting go of all the letting go of old perceptions that are not liberating you. They are keeping you stuck in some form of glory days where the Leo energy is. Okay. And also some ideals that you've had about the future, how you thought your life would be by this age, whatever age you are turning, Sag. You had ideas about how life would be. You had ideas about where you would be, what you would have accomplished, what is supposed to happen, right? What are the things that are naturally just supposed to happen? Like at this age, I should be in a relationship. At this age, I should be married. At this age, I should have this kind of success, this level of success, all these things. I should have done this and that and that and that. And you may be reviewing your life and seeing that, but you're not there. You haven't accomplished some of the things that are on that list. Then maybe you just had shallow motivations to accomplish those things. Like you wanted to be, let's say, married, for instance, and you wanted to be married by the age of 25 because you wanted to be the one in your community that actually gets married first before having a child first, if maybe that applies to you. All right. Or you wanted to be the first one in your family to drive an expensive car, and yeah, so all these things that you could have had ideals about and you could have wanted to accomplish for shallow reasons. You may be letting go of the shallow reasons. Doesn't mean that you're letting go of your dreams. It doesn't mean that you're letting go of your ideals. It just means that you're letting go of the shallow motivations behind wanting them. All right, your desire for them may be inspired by something different, something more meaningful, and something that can impact the lives of others in a significant way. So sad. I'm going to leave it there for you. If you have experiences or questions that you would like to share, the comment section is fully available for you. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you. I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Cancer Rising. So for you, destiny innovates your psychological mind, right? Your understanding of things. Perhaps you have had an a misunderstanding, right, of certain things. There was certain information that was missing, certain things that you know, when you put two and two together, you got 55 some way, somehow. So around this 18 months could be the time where you're gaining a lot more clarity, a lot more understanding of the things that used to confuse you, of the things that used to not make sense, the things where the math wasn't mathing, it just wasn't adding up. So the more you investigate, right, which is something that could happen, you may develop this hunger to uncover the truth, to know what's real and what's true, you know, who's been lying. And you know, maybe there are certain facts or certain things that are told in only half truths, or the history of those things is slightly inaccurate, and you may be hungry for the truth with this energy, and you're just doing a lot of work or spending a lot of your time investigating and uncovering these truths, and in some instances maybe teaching or telling other people about it, but that might not be for everyone. For some of you, you're investigating these things for your own personal clarity. It's just about you having the understanding. But for some of you, it could be something that you want to share with other people because you think that it is a truth that can liberate them. I mean, after all, the Aquarius energy is the energy of the people, you know, empowering people, helping people help themselves. And the more people know, the easier it'll be for them to set themselves free from certain, you know, confines, from certain conditionings that they have grown up with, certain misinformations that they have just been walking around believing. So that could be how you serve humanity, right? By doing the research and investigating and letting the people know what they didn't know. Now, there could also be fated or unexpected events involving inheritances or taxes, debts, loans, investments. So those of you who are investors, you want to keep an eye on your investments. There might be a lot of fluctuations or a lot of unpredictable events. So make sure that your money is safe. All right. But it could also just be other people's money, other people's resources. Maybe there are people who are supporting you financially that might go through some form of financial change. Now, the change does not have to be challenging, right? It depends on the astrology in your chart. It depends on the astrology in that person's chart who is financially supporting you, whether or not these sudden changes are going to be good. Maybe someone suddenly hits the jackpot, right? And your financial situation changes, or maybe it's somebody suddenly loses their job and the money just isn't coming in like it was. So certain adjustments need to be made, right? It depends on the rest of the astrology. But yeah, definitely sudden changes and unexpected events involving monies, plural. Okay. And with the South Node in the second house, some of you may be leaving behind a form of livelihood, like a certain kind of job that you used to do because of maybe how it used to make you feel, right? Maybe it used to be very fulfilling once upon a time for you, right? You felt like you were the man or you were that girl while doing this career. Maybe you even went into that career for shallow reasons. You know, you wanted to be popular, or you wanted to be better than your neighbor's children, or whatever the motivations were at that time, right? Maybe you even wanted to make your parents proud by choosing that career path. And around this time could be the time where you feel like you just can't pretend to like it anymore. You just can't pretend like it's fulfilling for you anymore. So there could be a lack of fulfillment with the current livelihood, the current source of income, where you feel like you're being pulled to something deeper, something more meaningful, and something that can serve humanity and society in a greater way that isn't just about you having a fat bank account. Okay, although I'm not against that, but it's about motivations. And as I said, the North Node and the South Node are about balance. Nobody is saying you should leave your job. All right, sometimes it's just that you need to find something that feels more purposeful and more meaningful to you whilst you keep your job. All right, but that won't manifest for everyone. Obviously, for some people, they will feel the need to leave the job because they're just doing a lot of pretending there, and they're just not happy. It's just not fulfilling anymore. Okay, so it depends on your life journey, it depends on the rest of the astrology in your chart. So apply that information accordingly. And also shallow values as well. For those of you that have been valuing, you know, material items, valuing a certain kind of status, like let's say maybe it's an iPhone, right? And you feel like, well, if you have an iPhone, you're an important person on the planet. Rather than having an Android, then you're like a peasant or something, whatever people believe, you know. And so if you've had those kinds of shallow beliefs, and you've been kind of killing yourself financially to be able to afford these things that don't actually mean something deeper to you, although there is a deeper meaning to everything. Some of the things we believe them because it's connected to childhood wounds, it's connected to our own self-worth, so it's always deeper than how it looks on the surface. But yeah, coming back to your finances, because the second house and eighth house axis is the money axis. So if you have Leo there, Leo in the second house for you, Cancer, yeah, there might be certain things that you have valued for shallow reasons that they just may not matter to you as much right now. And even if you do try to spend money on those things, it's not going to be as fulfilling as you thought it would be. Okay, so Cancer, I think I'm going to leave it there for you. If you have experiences or questions that you would like to share and ask, the comment section is fully available for you. I look forward to hearing from you. And I'm going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now. Hi there, Capricorn rising. So for you, destiny calls you to money, okay? But money in an unconventional way. So this could be a time where some of you are starting a new job, but it's an unconventional job. It's not a job that everyone and anyone can work, right? Whereas for some of you, you've been in this line of work for a very long time, and there could be some benefits happening there, you know, because you've been putting in the work, you've been sticking with it for a very long time. This could be a time, an 18-month period, where you're kind of being rewarded for sticking to your uniqueness, for allowing yourself to be the weird one. You could be either gaining promotions where you're getting paid more money. If you're an entrepreneur, the innovative solutions, the innovative services that you give to other people could be in high demand within this 18 months. And that means more money, more bookings, more purchases. All right. Obviously, this depends on the rest of the story that your astrology is telling, but that's what is possible for some of you. Some of you will be developing unique values. You'll be letting go of these societal norm values that you have been conditioned with and that have been given to you, like, oh, you know, a successful career is a career that looks like this. You know, someone who is rich is someone who has this amount in their account, you know, and these are things that you could be setting yourself free from. And also with having the South Node in the eighth house, some of you may be letting go of obsessions, certain things that you have just been obsessed with. Maybe it's material items that you felt like, I just have to have this, or I just have to live this way in order for me to prove that I am this person, right? You're letting go with being obsessed with being perceived in a specific light, in a specific way, and you're okay with kind of not being liked and not being validated by other people. Now, this doesn't mean go out of your way to rub people the wrong way. I feel like it's just naturally going to happen. You're just naturally going to trigger people because you are in your light, right? Those of you who are doing the work to move in the north direction. But yeah, just no longer really being bothered by by the confines, by the labels that other people have placed upon you, as a measure of success, as a measure of wealth, right? As a measure of you, really, your worth, your value in life, right? You may be developing a value in life where it's not the norm, right? And you just value a different way of life. and other people just don't get it, and that's okay. It doesn't bother you that other people don't get it. I feel like that's the main thing that I'm trying to get at. Like those of you who have had limiting and confining perceptions about money, like, oh, there's not enough money on the planet. Although you're a Capricorn, I don't think it's even possible for you to think like that. But you know, strange things happen on planet Earth all the time. um but yeah, if you've had a scarcity mindset, you know, and you've just gone through life feeling like, money is so hard to get. Once I have money, I have all these dependents, I have all these things to take care of. There's just never enough. There's just never enough. You might not care about that anymore. Or rather, you may break free from that. You may break free from thinking that there's a limited amount, you know, and you only get a limited share, and you better use it wisely, and you better, you know, you may be feeling a lot freer around money, and a lot braver, a lot more willing to take risks. But I will say, please do calculate your risks. Don't just dive in headfirst into something just because you're making extra cash. Always, when it comes to money, always investigate what you are investing your money into, be it spending it on a girlfriend or boyfriend, spending it on a house, investing in a business, investing in a stock. Wherever your money is going, investigate first. Investigate first and then spend accordingly. All right, Capricorn, I think I'm going to leave it there for you. If you have any experiences or questions that you would like to ask, the comment section is fully available for you. I look forward to hearing from you and interacting with you. I am going to thank you for watching, and it is bye for now.